back, everyone. I hope you're all fantastic. Let's check out the Synergy Steve Vai signature module today. We'll do it side by side with the Bogner Ecstacy module. All the Steve Vai superfans out there will know Steve used a Bogner for a little while in the 90s. I suspect some of my favorite Vai tones are actually the sound of a Bogner Ecstacy. So let's hear them side by side. But first, if you're going to get the Vai module, you probably want the distorted sounds out of it. You want that big, thick, creamy lead sound out of either the bridge pickup or the neck pickup. And then you want that really nice, like a little bit more than an edge of breakup sound out of like a split coil mode on your guitar. So here's a little bit of a mashup. Enjoy some funny faces and some lead guitar, and then we'll hear some more tones. It's basically effortless to get that sound. That module nails it, but let's hear the clean channel. I'm on one of the parallel modes of this guitar, an appropriately chosen green guitar to go with the green module. Bright switch is up along with the fat switch, and we'll just hear a couple of different variations. So it looks like the bright switch down means it's actually on, and I really like this combo on the neck humbucker of this guitar. I always kind of struggle with clean sounds from humbuckers. This is a Seymour Duncan Jazz, but we get this. Now it's back to being super bright on that parallel position. Let's keep this fat switch down. Let's have a listen to the same combo, and then I'll go back to the neck pickup. Just got this like really nice, detailed and tight bottom end. It's kind of bell-like, and it does those kind of Vai style clean tones really, really well. Let's move over to the second channel where all the gain is at. As you can see, you kind of got to crank the mid-range and the treble control on this. I've got the bright down and the boost down as well. I think that means the boost is not engaged. bit of a clam there. Let's hit the bright switch on and go to the neck pickup. I'm going to crank the gain up as well so I can have some cheat codes on for that legato stuff. There's so much gain in this module with the boost on. I really like it with the gain actually backed off a little bit, so more this kind of thing. Yeah, that's where the party's at. Let's have a listen to the Ecstacy module though. I'm going to flick straight to the second channel over there. You can see kind of similar EQ settings, but the Ecstacy has two settings in there. There's a pre-EQ and then a schizo control. So if I set the pre-EQ in the middle, it's not super impressive. I'm not that into it, but flicking it up really adds a lovely kind of pre-gain boost. That's wonderful with the schizo switch and the pre-EQ really boosted. Let's just quickly flip-flop between that sound and then the lead sound on the Vi module. That's pretty rad, right? They definitely have different characters going on. I think the Ecstacy sounds a little more kind of focused or something like that, or tighter maybe is the right word. It's not as compressed under your fingers. It feels like you kind of have to work a little bit harder to get those notes, whereas the Vi module, just the notes kind of leap out of the fretboard. The harmonics are there. It's a beautiful thing. I like both of them. Let's flick over really quickly to the first channel on the Ecstacy, and I'll try to get a clean sound out of it. I think I've kind of got it set up. Again, back to the parallel modes on this guitar. So there's like way more quack in there or something, and that's not really a clean, is it? It's kind of an edge of breakup sound happening in there. And on the neck pickup, you don't get that same like really kind of bell-like headroom in there. It just starts to break up. But I think the real party is at adding some pre-EQ, and again, that kind of schizo switch on the Ecstacy channel there. So let's flick them. Let's flick that one up and this one down. Add some bass, add a little bit of gain. Close up of my forehead right here. I know how attractive that is. I'll bring some mids out and I'll leave that there. This is a great rock crunch, and I have personally struggled to get this out of the Vi module. That's pretty rad, right? If we go schizo switch up, and I'll just back the volume off because that gives me a pretty big volume boost. You get this. That's back to the Vi module. It almost sounds like it's got, you know, like a Boss DS1 or something happening in that boost circuit. It's really, really nice and compressed in the mid-range, but it doesn't have that same kind of immediate percussive attack that the Ecstacy channel has. And if you take the boost out and the bright out and you kind of bring the mids out of this one, again, you'll kind of really hear the difference between those two. I'll flip-flop between them again. To me, it's almost like the difference between guitar tones in the late 80s and guitar tones kind of in the mid 90s. You know, the late 80s thing is like a little bit hairier, a little bit more pushed in the mid range, and then the mid 90s thing has kind of a tighter bottom end, a little bit of an extended high end, and slightly less mid range. It does a scoot thing really well. So yeah, this is in no way like a scientific comparison. I'm sure you could get a lot closer. But this is the whole reason this synergy system is fun and why gear is fun in general. A certain piece of gear gives you these kind of initial conditions, and they will maybe push you in a slightly different direction than another piece of gear. I'm sure you've all seen the comparisons between, like, you know, how close can a boogie sound to a Marshall and things like that. But these two modules have distinct voices, in my opinion. If you want a really pristine clean and then you want a glorious smooth overdrive, the Vi module, that's what it's designed for. That's what Steve does. That's what he has made a career out of, those tones. The module does it. Whereas the Ecstacy thing, maybe it's a better way for you to kind of find your sound in there with the different pre-EQ and schizo switches on there, the different kind of gain structure and overall character in there. I really like both of them, but I have to say the Vi kind of gets the edge for me just for that clean sound. It's one of my favorite cleans I've ever heard in a preamp anyway. So that's me. What about you? Which of these two would you gravitate towards for your system? And out of the tones I use here, what were your favorites? Please let me know in the comments, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.